Hey everyone, Technomentary with the video for you guys. In today's video, we're going to compare the new iPhone 16 Pro with the iPhone XS that was released about 6 years ago. In this video, we're going to talk about the main difference between these two phones and also let you know if it's worth upgrading from this iPhone XS to the iPhone 16 Pro. Everything you need to know, we're going to discuss. So let's get started. As you can see right off the bat is the difference in box size. What has changed used to be really big boxes where you got a lot of stuff like the charger, adapter, headphones. With the newer iPhones, you simply just don't get anything. You only get that wireless charging cable, the USB-C one, where in the past you used to get all of those accessories. Enough with the accessories, moving on to the actual phone itself and the build here. Right off the top here, you'll see here a big difference when I have them side by side together. As you'll notice here, the body size difference between them, that's because the iPhone 16 Pro comes with a 6.3-inch display here. Now the iPhone XS here is a 5.8-inch display, almost 0.5 bigger size. Now other things in the screen is you'll see the bezels are skinnier on the new iPhone 16 Pro. And then this top notch up here is a dynamic island versus the top notch on the iPhone XS, which used to be the older design of it. Now moving on to other side is the back here. You're gonna notice a difference in terms of back and the design of it, and a lot has changed of the design as well. The iPhone 16 Pro with the triple cameras here, they are with the 48 fusion and a wide ultra angle as well with the, and then the iPhone XS comes with dual 12 megapixel camera. Okay, the big difference of that as well between it. Also notice the bezel body design of it. The iPhone 16 Pro is made out of titanium versus the iPhone XS, which is made out of your stainless steel body. Again, one big difference is the rounded edge versus a flat one between the body of this phone. And some people prefer the rounded one, older one. I personally prefer rounded one, but the newer designs or the flat one. On the 16 Pro comes with a special button known as the camera button, which if I click on it will open up the camera. This is a new feature on the 16 lineup that's not available on the older phone. What the older phone does have is that physical SIM card, which makes for some people a big difference when they're considering a newer phone. The US model, at least on the 16 Pro, does not have that. Also, one big difference is going to be your action button on the new 16 Pro versus the ringer button or the switch that you can use, but now you use the action button to activate certain features like turning the phone silent on and off or customizing as well. And lastly, it's going to be the actual charge port. The newer phones now come with USB-C versus the Lightning on the older port on these devices. And finally, another big thing to consider, it's going to be wireless charging. The newer iPhone 16 Pro can now charge up to 25 watt using a 30 watt adapter for the wireless charging, which again on the iPhone XR is limited. So those are going to be a big difference between them. As I mentioned, the camera is probably a big difference in terms of how much improvement Apple does, and usually Apple, as you know, will do improvement in camera with every version here, coming down to just things like photography. Of course, you can now do much bigger or zoom version that's not available or possible with the iPhone XS here. It's going to be one big noticeable thing. Now when it comes to other portrait mode, you'll see here you could do photography on both, but spatial feature is not available on the iPhone XR, so as things like cinematic mode, which isn't available. Again, that's just because of the way these cameras are built into it. Now, the other big aspect is going to be the battery life between these devices. What are you going to be expecting between the battery life between these devices? That the iPhone 16 Pro has a whopping 27 hours of video playback versus only 14 on the iPhone XS, almost double the amount between these. So a big boost in the battery life of it. Now, other things you might not consider or might want to consider, it's going to come down to the software on these phones. So both of the phones can update to iOS 18. Well, the iPhone 16 Pro comes with iOS 18. You can take advantage of all the new features. The iPhone XS can also upgrade to iOS 18, and that might be the last major update the iPhone XS gets, and after that it probably won't get any more update. Possibly iOS 19. Again, that's still on the borderline as the iPhone, as you can see, starting to drop off because it is a 6-year-old phone. It made quite of a big run, but other features on iOS 18, even though you can update the iPhone XS, will not get things like Apple Intelligent, things like clean up tools and call recording. Those features will not be available on the iPhone 10s here. And then also other things to consider when it comes to the iPhone 16 Pro are going to be things like crash detection, which can save your life in emergency situation, which the iPhone 16 Pro comes equipped with. Things around satellite services like roadside assistant, messaging, and even getting help will be available on the iPhone 16 Pro, not available on the iPhone 10s. So purely talking about all of the big differences between the iPhone 10 or and 10s is that the performance increase on the A18 Bionic A18 Pro chip, actually 8 gigs of RAM versus 4 gigs of RAM. It's going to see a big jump in when it comes to gaming, especially if you do graphic heavy gaming. You'll not be able to do that on the iPhone 10s. So that's kind of something to keep in mind. When it comes to multitasking, of course, the iPhone 16 Pro will beat the iPhone 10s in any day because of those amount of increased resources available on the 16 Pro. So is it worth upgrading from the iPhone 10s to the iPhone 16 Pro? We definitely think so, just because the iPhone 10s is just at the end of life thing where you can still do most of your basic stuff pretty well, from calling, texting, browsing. You'll not be disappointed that the iPhone 10s still holds up really well, and even next year we'll see it holding up well until iOS 19 comes up. And if it's supported, great. If not, you definitely would want to consider upgrading to iPhone 16 Pro. So that's our thought and review of between these two phones. I want to hear from you guys. What's your thought on the iPhone 10s and the iPhone 16 Pro? If you upgraded, think about upgrading, leave a comment in the comment section. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So please consider like and subscribing for more tips, tricks, and reviews like this one. We'll see you guys next time.